Hello and welcome to Ireland with Michael. I'm Michael Londra, and in this show I get to tell you everything I love about my home country the best way I know how, through music. Today we're in County Westmeath in the Midlands, Ireland's hidden heartland, and it's a beating heart where the heritage of the land, its bogs, rivers and lakes, as well as its history, triumph and dark days alike, are all embraced by its people who take what they've been given and transform it while honouring what came before. It's in their art, their drink, and of course, their music. So join me as we get right to the heart of Ireland, County Westmeath.
Ireland with Michael is made possible by
whether travelling to Ireland for the first time or just longing to return. There's plenty more information available at ireland.com.
CIE Tours, sharing the magic of Ireland for 90 years.
Aer Lingus has been bringing people home since 1936. If you're thinking about Ireland, Aer Lingus is ready when you are to take you home.
We're starting in the hub of County Westmeath, the town of Athlone, which just so happens to be the geographical centre of the Emerald Isle. It's the crossroads of Ireland, pretty much halfway to everywhere, and right on the River Shannon, giving it a history which has left its mark all around town. By sheer coincidence, it's also the birthplace of one of my heroes, the greatest tenor Ireland has ever produced, Count John McCormack. Count John McCormack, born in Athlone in 1884, was celebrated for his performances of the operatic and popular song repertoires all over the world, renowned for his diction and breath control. He was also a papal count, and that means all the glamour without any of the responsibility. He became an American citizen like myself before returning to live in the land that gave him his golden voice.
Darling, I am growing old, silver threads among the gold.
He was born here in Athlone in 1884.
Athlone town historian Garrod O'Brien knows the story of one particular building's importance to Count John McCormack. Now we're right here in the Luan Gallery on the banks of the Shannon, a very modern, bright, of-the-day space here in Athlone. But this building itself is very relative to John.
It is. I mean, this building was built in 1899 to keep the men of Athlone away from the pubs. It was built as a temperance hall. It didn't succeed.
Didn't work.
It didn't succeed. But in 1903, that year, in November of that year, he came back to Athlone to have a concert here in this hall, which was then called the Father Matthew Hall. And he appeared on stage for the first time with his future wife, Lily Foley. For the people of Athlone, it would have been their first opportunity to hear him as a professional singer.
They're a superstar.
They are a superstar.
Shine upon my brow today. Life is fading fast away.
Look, there's no comparison between myself and the great John McCormack, but I also can't help myself from performing one of his great songs. The violets were scenting the woods, Maggie, displaying their charms to the breeze. When I first said I loved only you, Maggie, and you said you loved only me,
Well, our dreams, they have never come true, Maggie. Our hopes, they never were to be. When I first said I loved only you, Maggie, and you said you loved only me.
Carmel, we're on the brand new cycleway bridge crossing the gorgeous Shannon River here in Athlone. Can you tell me what you do in this lovely part of the world?
Yes, Michael, I'm the manager of Luan Gallery, this lovely
Right
building
behind
us, and Athlone Castle.
Tell me a bit more about the castle.
Yeah, well, the castle was built originally by the Normans in the 13th century, and it was to defend a crossing point on the River Shannon. And then it was involved right throughout the centuries in defending the town. But now it's this modern visitor centre, and the museum has these wonderful artefacts that range back over the centuries that were found locally here in Athlone.
Now, the gallery here is only across the road from the castle.
That's right.
So you've got Old World and New World.
For
Tell me
sure.
a bit more about the New World.
We showcase a wide range. It's all visual art. We've shown work by over 700 artists almost at this stage now.
Wow.
We would change exhibitions about every 2 months at a time, and we try and factor in what our audience might like and what our visitors might like.
The way I look at it is that Athlone is a great base if you want to come to Ireland, to kind of make it your heart or your home of a vacation and then head out in every direction.
It's becoming a really popular destination. We have visitors from all over the world.
And right here on the banks of the Shannon.
Of the River Shannon.
Just a skipping stone's throw up the River Shannon, we come to Sean's Bar, a pub with a long and fascinating history.
During renovations in 1970, the walls of the bar were found to be made of wattle and wicker. That itself dated back 900 years. In this wall was found old coins minted by various landlords for barter with their customers and tenants. Most of the wall and coins are on display at the National Museum, but this section behind me remains here in the pub. As it happens, they've been looking and they've found no older pub anywhere else, so, although it might be a little early to say, only 1,000 years, this may be the oldest pub in all the world. If I can drink and be part of history, well, I'm a happy TV host.
The actual history of drinking is one thing, but I suspect that drinking may have also played a part in the history of the fairy folk.
Behind me, the hawthorn bush is in full bloom, and the Doon na Shee Heritage Park here in Moat is full of them. The name translates as the Fort of the Fairies, and it's named for these trees sacred in Ireland and said to mark the presence of fairy forts, the peculiar abode of the Shee. Now, not all hawthorns are doors to the underworld. It's the odd ones that stand out. Those that grow alone by a stream or have too many thorns or none at all. So look for the sort of different ones and keep an eye out. You never know when a Shee might be around. Today, the Centre honours the traditions and activities of rural Ireland through the years. From working the plough to our evening's pleasures, where nothing could be more joyful than when a piper or fiddler came passing through. The chairs were cleared, the neighbours gathered and dancing commenced. Although the more formal step dancing is better known today through competitions and public performances, the old way, Shannos, characterised by free, improvised footwork, is what would have been danced on nights like that. But enough talking about it. Let's go and meet Joe and Roisin, some folks keeping the art of dance alive. I'm kind of hoping they'll show me a few steps. You know, the singer never gets the chance to dance. I love Irish dancing without having any skills at Irish dancing whatsoever. But you two are two different types of Irish dancer. I'll talk to Roisin first. You are what's called a sean-nós dancer. Now, if I'm right, sean-nós means old ways. Is that right?
Old style, yeah.
Old style. So what's the heart of old style dancing?
It's more flat to the ground and you can move your arms, it's more relaxed.
So do you want to show me that then?
Yeah.
Okay, that's not exactly, you know, I can do that.
Yeah.
In rhythm. All right, so
that's a very basic one.
Okay, yeah. And then how do you up the ante then? How you...
You do the shuffles.
Okay.
So you go...
Okay.
So you do two shuffles and stand. Yes,
okay.
Perfect.
All right, keep going.
So, and then the fast shuffles.
The fast shuffles, okay.
Then that's more kind of jumping back.
Okay.
So you're going...
Oh yeah.
Yes.
All right, sure. Off you go. Show me. Show me what you've got, and then I'll try and join you.
Okay, perfect.
All right. Okay, so that's a kind of a loose way of dancing, right? Now, the way Joe dances is a lot more, probably more rigid and fixed. Well, so I know there's some basics to Irish, there's a core step to Irish dancing as well.
Yes.
And what is that?
Well, the side step and the 1, 2, 3s are the two core steps for Irish.
Right. Now, so a 1, 2, 3 is 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Okay, very good. I got that.
And
the sevens.
Hop 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6,
7.
Very
good. Perfect.
Okay.
Very good.
All right. So if we did a 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
Okay.
All right.
2, 3.
Hop! I got that. Okay. So do you do any of the type of dancing that she does?
No, I don't do sean-nós. No, I do heavy dancing.
I think that the North American audience will know heavy dancing from river dance.
Yes.
Because it's very rhythmic and fixed.
Yes.
Now, would you say that you're one of the people who kind of influenced what river dance became?
Well, river dance was very good for Irish dance. It promoted it big time. And it lifted up to the...
It made all you Irish dancers very sexy and cool, right?
Yeah, for the first time.
Well, there's one rhythmic dance that I love called St. Patrick's Day.
Yes.
And I'm going to see if I can follow you doing it. Would you
No
give
problem.
me a few steps?
Okay.
Right, off you go.
2, 3, begin.
Hop.
Very good.
I'm not the worst, huh?
Very good.
I won't be able to walk for a week, though. You know that, right? This is Belvedere House, and it has something of a cursed history to it. It was built in 1740 as a hunting lodge for Robert Rochford, the first Earl of Belvedere. Well, it ended up as Rochford's retreat after the so-called wicked Earl locked away his wife with the servants in their previous home at Gallstown for allegedly having an affair with Robert's brother Arthur. Arthur was later put on trial, fined £20,000, a staggering amount which he couldn't pay, so the Earl locked him away too, and Arthur spent 18 years in debtor's prison. The Earl didn't earn his moniker for nothing. Arthur was only released along with the Earl's poor wife when Rochford died at last in 1774. Despite all the cruelty, he left behind a pretty gorgeous house and gardens. The Earl's most striking mark on the grounds are its numerous follies, impressive structures that serve absolutely no purpose whatsoever. This, the Jealous Wall, is the largest of these. It's a sham ruin built on the edge of the property after the charming Earl had a falling out with his other brother George, who lived on the adjacent estate. Just to block the view next door, he built a wall at immense personal expense. Sound familiar? Ireland's geography is remarkably varied, but one of our most unique features are our bogs, which abound in the Midlands. These environments are brimming with biodiversity, and here at Celtic Roots Studio, Helen Chenille is taking inspiration from her surroundings and making it her mission to craft breathtaking sculptures out of the bog oak, sacred wood which has been partially fossilised, preserved by the power of the peat. Helen, we've never actually met. I've heard and seen your work for the longest time, for about 20 years, so I finally get to meet you.
And it's lovely to meet you too.
Tell me about what bog oak is.
Okay, so when I'm telling you about bog oak, I'm literally telling you about the history of Ireland for the Midlands of Ireland and the magical hidden heartlands. We go right back to 10,000 years ago, after the Ice Age, and as the Ice Age moved, it gorged out a very huge lakes in the centre of Ireland. So now you had the trees growing into the side of the lake, and they grew there for about 500 years. They were really good at surviving over water. The ones that didn't were pushed underneath, and those dead plants are what we call peat, and it preserved those trees that fell into the lake. And in 1990 we started our studio and we started to carve those trees for sculpture.
So you accept visitors who can come in, touch and feel this, because it's so hard to describe what it is to people until you see it and feel it and sense what it is. But you do something even more remarkable in that you teach people how to carve.
Yeah, it's kind of intimate again. I tell the story of the bogs while we're carving.
So tell us, let's have a look at this stuff and what you can do with it. I can't understand how you can take something as rough and hard, although ultimately it is soft, I think, and how you're able to carve it.
Quite difficult to carve, so what we're going to do is we're going to get what we call a rasp. It allows you, if we work with something like this, we're going to start to just literally, and because with the root, this comes from the root of the tree, you can't do any harm. I keep saying to people, you're evolving your own form within it.
Oh, right.
And I'm going to give you this if you're right-handed.
Yeah.
I'm going to say, hold this in your left.
Yeah.
Quite a lot. Put it down on kind of like a table.
Solid.
Yeah, and then, or like this, and then you start.
Oh, yeah.
And while it's quite dense, you say, am I going to get a reaction? Yes, you do.
Yes,
you can see
do.
already.
Pretty immediately.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So it seems like, you know, in looking back to ancient times, you still have to look forward with your design. So I think it's pretty amazing that you're able to kind of link the two.
Yeah.
But there is that connection, because that through line with the wood is there, I guess.
Yeah. And and there's a pureness, so, and yet, as you say, for modern, or for how we live, that there's a relevance and a connection.
At the heart of life in Westmeath, and for that matter, all of Ireland, is the River Shannon. Commemorated in countless songs, it's one thing to admire its wide waters from the banks, and something else entirely to glide across its surface for yourself, as generations of fishermen, bargemen and ferries have done for centuries.
I love this, just leaving Athlone.
Today, water taxis and guides who spend their lives on the Shannon are waiting for a chance to bring you out into this ancient waterway.
I feel like I know you already, because you and I have great love for the water. Mine is out on the ocean down in Wexford, and you're here in the hidden heartlands just outside Athlone on these gorgeous lakes. So we've been out on the water for about 90 minutes and I loved it, just leaving Athlone. And you did two things for me, because for a while there it was pretty exhilarating because we picked up a speed and I was shouting for joy. But now we're in this peaceful little side lake, and I think this is probably the essence to Shannon waterways. Is that why you love it?
If I was to say anything, what was my dream, and I dream over the winter months when I can't take a boat out on the water, and I just dream about places like coming in here. Here you have tranquility, you have the swallows, the swifts all feeding. This time of the year you have the mayfly, and later in the summer this whole bay will be covered in water lilies. So you have just those beautiful colours throughout the whole summer.
You know what you have more than anything else here? Peace. It's so still.
Oh Michael, the whole place is, you can come into one of these little bays And like, there are no boats, there are no people, and you can just turn the engine off, as I would do on a regular Sunday, turn the engine off and allow the boat just drift. It'll drift into the rushes, or it'll drift wherever, and you can just sit there and just listen to the birds.
So you host people on your private boat every day from all over the world. What do you think is, why do you think people come to this part of Ireland?
They come here to see the colours, the peace and the history of the area. And when they come here, a lot of them would say to me, didn't realise it was as beautiful as this.
From the chill of the Shannon to the warmth of the pub, in every town and village in Ireland, you know there's one thing that brings everyone together like nothing else: music. Honouring that heritage is what this show is all about. It's also precisely what some locals in Westmeath aimed to do more than 70 years ago, and it's safe to say they succeeded in a big way.
It was 1951 here in the town of Mullingar when the madcap idea of an all-Ireland festival of music, the Fleadh Chenille, came to fruition. It just makes sense that it started here, as Mullingar is a musical town absolutely thrumming with it. Ever since then, it rotates towns biannually and has grown into the world's largest annual celebration of Irish music, language, song and dance, attracting some 500,000 visitors to the host town every year. I mean, this thing is massive. And 70 years later, in 2022 and 2023, the festival returned to its roots in Mullingar. I'm here to meet an organiser and native son of Mullingar, as well as a talented traditional banjo player in his own right, Joe Connora. Joe, we're in the heart of a very vibrant town that I love, Mullingar, an electric music town, and yes, you are very much part of the music in town as being part of the founding committee of
Fleadh Chenille. I'm the chairman of the Fleadh Executive Committee here for Mullingar.
So people who are involved in Irish music from all over the world come to a particular town once a year.
Yes.
And they play not only in contest against each other, but when those contests are over,
correct,
that's when the really the party starts.
Absolutely.
Then, right?
It's basically, if you can imagine this town, and it's a big town with wide streets, and there's a lot of tributaries off the main street. There's music on every corner, every street. The town is literally packed with up to 500,000 people for the entire week. So it's a major event showcasing our culture of traditional Irish music, song, dance and the Irish language.
Now, I know there's another particular town that's going to take the reins from you when Mullingar waves it goodbye.
Yes.
I know it's coming to my town, to Wexford town, and I for sure will not be one to miss it.
Yes, well, look, nobody would want to miss Fleadh Chenille, and people that don't understand the event, once they go to it, they'll never miss an event going forward. And look, best of luck to Wexford.
I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, absolutely. So am I, because the heat will be off us.
Oh yeah. You could just go and enjoy the party.
Absolutely.
Huh? Thanks for joining me on my travels around County Westmeath. I'm Michael Landra, and I hope to see you next time on Ireland with Michael. But for now, cheers. Sláinte.
Want to continue your travels to Ireland? Your choice of Ireland with Michael DVD Season 1, 2 or 3 with bonus concert footage is available for $30. Ireland with Michael, a musical journey CD with songs from Michael and his guest artists, is available for $20. The Ireland with Michael companion travel guide, featuring places to visit as seen in all seasons, is also available for $30. This offer is made by Wexford House. Shipping and handling is not included.
To learn more about everything you've seen in this episode, go to IrelandWithMichael.com.
Ireland with Michael was made possible by
Whether travelling to Ireland for the first time or just longing to return, there's plenty more information available at Ireland.com.
CIE Tours, sharing the magic of Ireland for 90 years.
Aer Lingus has been bringing people home since 1936. If you're thinking about Ireland, Aer Lingus is ready when you are to take you home.